So we need to talk about the Book of Boba Fett again. You know, as a kid, having something like this, having these live action Disney shows or Star Wars shows, uh, it'd be like a dream come true, right? Because the movies came out when I was very very young, right? I was born in 1981, so the movies were coming out before I was born, and then shortly after, and I was watching them as a kid. Um, and then nothing. There was just nothing made for years, and I was a teenager when the prequel movies came out. And I remember going to the movie theater. I think we were in Florida for some family reunion, and we went to the theater, and I was so excited to see the first of the prequels. Because no new Star Wars my whole life, but it's something I really wanted. I had all these toys, I had comic books. I loved Star Wars, and I remember I had to go to the bathroom so bad middle way through this movie, but I did not want to leave it because I wanted to see what really I wanted to see when it was going to get good. I did not like the prequel films. I didn't like any of them. The first one, of course, has Jar Jar Binks, and that was just dreadful. And they were just so not what I was expecting. They didn't feel like Star Wars. They didn't look like Star Wars. If the sequel trilogy, for all its problems, at least got mostly the aesthetic of the original Star Wars down. And The Mandalorian really nailed it. The Mandalorian really felt like a Star Wars show in the vein of the original trilogy. Dirtier, grittier worlds, technology that didn't, in CGI that didn't feel like it was just, from a different galaxy far, far away. So that gave me a lot of hope for the future of Star Wars. The Mandalorian gave me a lot of hope for the future of this franchise, of the universe, the movies, the live action shows, etc., etc. But the Book of Boba Fett has me questioning my hope and my faith. Because the Book of Boba Fett is just not the same. It's just so much worse than The Mandalorian. And I've talked about a number of reasons why in previous videos. Today I want to talk about Fennec Shand. I think that the Book of Boba Fett has a sidekick problem. It really has an overall character problem. It doesn't have enough interesting, funny, exciting characters to sort of fill in the gaps around Boba Fett. Boba Fett himself is, I think, a huge letdown. He's too old. He's not ruthless enough. He's too kind. He's like a kindly old grandpa. And he shouldn't be a grandpa. He shouldn't have been cast as the guy who played his father in the prequels, because obviously the age is just going to be wrong. And you can say, okay, clones age faster, but no, the age is wrong. It doesn't work for this character. He went into the Sarlacc pit much younger than he came out just a little while later. It wasn't years later. People say, oh, it was years in the Sarlacc pit. No, he spent years with the Tusken Raiders. He was only in the Sarlacc pit briefly before he clambered out of there and got his armor stolen by the Jawas. But here's the thing. The sidekick problem. In The Mandalorian, Mando's sidekick is Grogu. And Grogu is so different from Mando in almost every way. He's cute and adorable. He's young and curious. He's emotional. He's funny. He's everything that Mando is not. Mando is a blank slate. Mando is reserved. Mando is not funny. Mando does not have deep personal connections with people. He's a lone wolf. And all of his fundamental character traits are tested, and ultimately he is changed for the better because of his sidekick, Grogu. He's also changed for the better because of other characters that he encounters. He is a dynamic character who is constantly being revealed to be a much more teddy bear-like character than he comes across as hidden behind all that Beskar steel. So, the droid, the bounty hunter droid that Taika Waititi plays, basically changes his entire worldview and his trauma around droids to the point where he now has he has grown to the point where he has a totally different opinion about droids. But Grogu, being his sidekick, is the one who enriches Mando the most, and those two together play off of each other like a straight man and a funny man in an old comedian routine, right? Mando's a straight man. He doesn't make the jokes. But the jokes are played off of him really effectively by Baby Yoda. You know, whether he's stealing the little ball thingy or just wandering off or whatever. The two enrich each other's characters in a way that's beautiful and compelling, and this is not the case in the Book of Boba Fett. What does Fennec Shand bring to Boba Fett? What does Boba Fett bring to Fennec Shand? They are essentially the same serious, humorless character. My daughter actually pointed out that Boba Fett needs a sidekick that's funny. And that's a great point. I mean, not Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks wasn't funny. It doesn't have to be goofy and ludicrous. It certainly can't be another Baby Yoda. But a sidekick that brings something else to the table, rather than just the same personality. I mean, what is the difference really between Boba Fett and Fennec Shand? She's a little bit more of a swashbuckler. Okay. But does that really play out in the show? Not really. She just chooses to be his lieutenant, essentially, for no real reason. It sort of reminds me of Fear the Walking Dead, where Morgan is like trying to help everyone because he needs to atone for the things he's done in the past. And then like all the other characters, including like Alicia and everybody else, just decides they want to do the same thing. Now we in the Book of Boba Fett, it's like we have Fennec Shand just kind of hop on board with Boba Fett, even though she's like this ruthless assassin, and they both just go soft. And they're both just really serious, and pretty much any line that Fennec Shand has, you could just give to Boba Fett, and it wouldn't make a single bit of difference. So, basically, the point being is that Boba Fett, there's no characters who are enriching his character the same way that most of the characters in The Mandalorian have an effect on Mando and bring out either his better side or his darker side. Even characters who function. Like in the last episode of Boba Fett, which was the best episode of Boba Fett because there was no Boba Fett in it. But in that, we have the Armorer and the other Mandalorian, and they challenge Boba Fett and ultimately exile him. But that, again, that leads to more character development for Mando. Whereas in the Book of Boba Fett, really the only characters who have done that for him at all are the Tusken Raiders, and they were killed off screen just to give him a big, like, come to Jesus moment and give him a bit of a revenge story that's barely played out. So that's a problem. This is a problem with the Book of Boba Fett. There are many, many problems with this show, but this is one of them. The interchangeability of Boba Fett and Fennec Shand, the fact that these are both like very similar characters, interchangeable personalities, no sense of humor, overly self-serious. It's just not what you're really looking for in a sidekick. Think Batman and Robin, you know. Batman is like the old, tough, grizzled dude, and Robin is like the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed novice. And, you know, Batman helps teach Robin, and Robin helps make Batman more human. And I'm just talking about the Batman Lego movie. But really, like, the whole concept of having a sidekick, having side characters, having these, is either to provide contrast with the main character, to provide a foil, to provide a challenge, right? It's challenging for the Mandalorian to take care of a baby all of a sudden. That's not in his wheelhouse. He doesn't do that. This is a new challenge. So you've got the contrast between this seasoned, grizzled veteran and this baby Yoda, but also the new conflict and the new struggle that gives to our protagonist and so on and so forth. But Fennec Shand, she's just like an extension of Boba Fett, and Boba Fett is like a personality-less blob already. So we have basically just all kinds of no personality. And everyone talks about how badass Fennec Shand is. Now, don't get me wrong, Ming-Na Wen, who is like almost 60 years old, I believe, is a badass. But her character is boring and flat, just like Boba Fett, and just like the show that they are trying desperately to make into something we actually care about. Anyways, I will stop rambling. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Peace.